So, myself, Jyoti Agnihotri, I am your biology teacher. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss some important questions of your life process chapter. Okay. Can you please turn on your camera? So, we know like life process chapter. It has four sections, right? First is nutrition. Okay. Second is your respiration. Third is your transportation. And fourth one is your excretion. Okay. And all these sections are important, equally important. Okay. Examiner can ask any question from any of these sections, right? So we have to prepare all these sections very well. Okay. So in today's class, we will discuss some PYQs, previous year questions. Okay. So let's start. So this is your first question. Uh, are you able to see my screen? Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Okay. So this is first question. The question is, this is assertion reason question and it is your 1 mark question. Okay. The question is like assertion is the inner wall of small intestine have finger-like projections called villi, which are rich in blood. Okay. And reason is these villi have a large surface area to help the small intestine in completing the digestion of food. See, like we know in our small, the inner surface of or inner wall of small intestine have a small finger-like projections that is known as villi. Okay. And the role of villi is to increase the surface area, right? Its role is to increase surface area for absorption of of digested food, right? But in this reason statement, you can see like this, it is saying this villi have larger surface area to help the small intestine in completing the digestion of food. No, villi has role in the absorption of food. It has no role in digestion of food. Okay, so yeah, then what will be your answer? C. Okay, assertion is true, but reason is wrong, right? Okay. Now next question. Yes. So, next question is, in the following flow chart showing autotrophic nutrition in green plant, and A and B respectively are. See, this flow chart is showing your photosynthesis process, right? Photosynthesis. It is a process in which plants produce their own food using carbon dioxide and water as a raw material in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay, and glucose is formed as a product. Okay, and so this is carbohydrate or your glucose. Okay, so plant utilize this glucose as a source of energy, right? Yes, and this glucose in plant is stored in the form of starch, right? So what will be your right answer? This C option. Okay. C, in plant, glucose stored in the form of starch, and in animal, this glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. Okay. Now next question. Which of the following statements are correct in reference to the role of A during a breathing cycle in human being? Okay. So this A is representing your diaphragm. So see, during breathing, two muscles work together. Okay? One is your diaphragm and another one is your intercostal muscle, right? Diaphragm and intercostal muscle. Okay, so when inhalation take place, so during inhalation, what happened? This diaphragm muscle contract, and when it contract, it becomes flattened, right? And this intercostal muscle also get contract at the time of inhalation. Okay, and when it contract, it lift the ribs upward. So your rib will move upward. Okay. As a result, what happened? Your thoracic cavity, the volume of thoracic cavity will increase, or volume of chest cavity will increase. Okay. And in exhalation, reverse process take place, right? So now, what are the options? It helps to decrease the residual volume of air in lungs. No, this statement is wrong because see, this diaphragm helps in increasing the volume of thoracic cavity. Okay, it will not decrease the residual volume. Okay, so the first statement is wrong. Second statement is it flatten as we inhale. It not if it flatten as we inhale. Yeah, it because during inhalation, what happens? This diaphragm get contract and become flattened to increases the volume of thoracic cavity. Right. So yeah, this statement is true. It get raised as we inhale. No, it raised as we exhale. So this statement is wrong. Fourth is it helps the chest cavity to become larger. This statement is also true. Okay, so what will be your right answer? See, your second and fourth statement is correct now. So your A will be the right answer. Okay, now. So here you can see in this question, this picture is representing transpiration process, right? So this is because here water vapor is releasing out in right through your leaves. So this is your transpiration. Okay. So what is transpiration? It is loss of excess water in the form of vapor through aerial parts of the plant, like in stomata in case of leaves. Okay. So when this transpiration occurs, okay, it creates suction force or suction pull. Okay, and this suction pull helps in the upward movement of water through xylem vessel, right? Okay, and this suction pull is also known as transpiration pull. It's also known as transpiration pull. Okay, so now see, observe the following diagram and identify the process and its significance from the following option. A is evaporation, maintain water content in leaf cell. No. B is transpiration, which creates a suction force which pulls water inside the plant. Yes. So this is your transpiration process, due to which a suction force is created, and this suction force helps in the upward movement of water. Right. So this will be your right answer. Now this question. So the question is, see, in this question you will see three parts, right? It is your 5 marks question. Okay. So here you can see the A part is, in this process of respiration, state the function, in the process of respiration, state the function of alveoli. So we know, like, alveoli is very small sac-like structure, right? It is tiny sac-like structure. Okay. And it has, so it is your tiny sac-like structure, and the alveoli have thin wall, right? And this is the site where your gaseous exchange takes place, right? So this alveoli helps in helps in what is the function of alveoli? It helps in exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between lungs and blood, right? This is the function of your alveoli. Okay, here you will see like this alveoli is well supplied with blood vessel, right? So carbon dioxide which is present in the blood, it will enter inside the alveoli, and oxygen will enter into the blood by the process known as diffusion, right? So this alveoli helps in the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between lungs and blood. Okay. Okay. So this is your A part. Now B is, rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than that in terrestrial organism. Give reasons. See, the amount of oxygen in water is very less, right? In comparison to the amount of oxygen present in your air. Okay, so that is why aquatic organisms have to breathe faster in order to fulfill the demand of your energy, right? See, we know amount of dissolved oxygen in water is very less. Okay, in comparison in comparison to amount of oxygen present in your air. So, in order to fulfill the demand of energy, what aquatic organisms do? Aquatic organism breathes faster. Okay. Now, third is, so here you can see this flow chart, right? And you have to find out like what is this first part and here also. Can you see this question mark? So you have to find out this. Okay, you have to complete this. So see, here we know like in cytoplasm, glucose break down into three carbon compound, okay, by the process known as glycolysis. Okay, and this process take place in your cytoplasm. Okay, so by the process of glycolysis, this glucose will break down into three carbon compound, and that three carbon compound is your pyruvate. Okay, this is your three carbon compound. Now, in the presence of oxygen, it means it is talking about your aerobic respiration, which takes place in your mitochondria. Okay, in presence of in presence in presence of oxygen. Okay, this pyruvate will undergo aerobic respiration. It will show aerobic respiration and it will break down into carbon dioxide plus water, and large amount of energy will release, right? So, and it takes place in your mitochondria. Okay. So, what will be your answer? This first, this will be your pyruvate, which is your three carbon compound. Okay. And this will be your carbon dioxide. Okay, because here it is talking about presence of oxygen means aerobic respiration. And in the presence of oxygen, we know our glucose break down into carbon dioxide and water, and large amount of energy is released. Okay, so this is our question. Now, next one. List the event in proper sequence that takes place during the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so we know like photosynthesis broadly include three steps. Okay, okay. So first, what will happen? Like what will be the first step? See, first this light energy will be absorbed by your chlorophyll, right? Which is present on your thyroid membrane, right? Okay. Then what will happen? This light energy will convert into chemical energy, right? Chemical energy. Chemical energy means like your ATP, NADPH, right? Chemical energy. And at the same time, what happened? Your water molecule will split into hydrogen and oxygen. Split into hydrogen and oxygen, right? So this hydrogen, which is released due to the breakdown of this water molecule, it will go and bind with your carbon dioxide molecule. And what will happen? This carbon dioxide will reduce into carbohydrate. Okay. And the energy, this light energy here in second step, what happened? Like this light energy converted into chemical energy like ATP. So this ATP and NADH is used in this process. Okay. For the conversion of your carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. So here, what will happen? Like this carbon dioxide will reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. And for this, energy is required, okay? And that energy is produced in your second step, okay? Reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. So these are the three steps which uh, take place at the time of photosynthesis, okay? And this oxygen is released as a byproduct. We know now, like at the time of photosynthesis, oxygen is released. So this oxygen will release as a byproduct, and hydrogen will combine with this carbon dioxide and convert it into your carbohydrate. So these are the three steps. Okay. Then next question, that is, what is double circulation? So yes, double circulation. So it is a process. It is a process in which blood passes through your heart twice in each cardiac cycle. Okay? Process in which blood passes through heart blood passes through heart twice. Okay? During each cardiac cycle. So we know like our heart is four chambered, right? See here what happened. Uh, so this is your heart, okay? And this is the right side of your heart, and this is left side. Okay, so yeah. Hmm. This is your right atrium. This is your right ventricle. This is your left atrium, and this is your left atrium. Okay, and this is tissue. Here is the tissue, and here is your lungs. Okay. And we know like our cells take up the oxygen and release carbon dioxide into the blood, right? So this tissue will take oxygen and release carbon dioxide into the blood. Now, this deoxygenated blood will be carried out by your largest vein, that is your vena cava. and transport this deoxygenated blood into your right atrium. From this right atrium, when your right atrium will contract, it will enter into your right ventricle. Okay, so this is your vena cava, right? And from the right, when your right ventricle will contract, then it will push into your, it will push into your pulmonary artery. Okay, and this pulmonary artery will carry this deoxygenated blood into lungs for oxygenation. Okay, and we know like oxygenation take place, like exchange of gases take place. Okay, so when oxygenation occurs, then this oxygenated blood will carried away from the lungs by your pulmonary vein, and this pulmonary vein will transport it into your left atrium. Okay, right? And then what will happen when this left atrium will contract? Blood will enter into left ventricle, and from when this left ventricle will contract, blood will move into your aorta. Okay, so this is your pulmonary artery. Okay, and this is your pulmonary vein, and this is your aorta. Okay, and this aorta will carry this oxygenated blood away from the heart and transport it to different parts of the body. Okay, like this. So here you can see two circulation. Okay, two type of pathways. One is your one is your pulmonary circulation, and second is your systemic circulation. Okay. So transport of blood between heart and lungs. Okay, transport of blood between heart and lungs. Okay, so this type of circulation is known as pulmonary circulation. Okay, this is your pulmonary circulation. Okay, and here this systemic circulation involves the transport of blood between heart and your rest of the body. Okay, this is your systemic circulation. So this double circulation basically include two types of circulation, like pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Okay, and the blood will transport between heart and lungs, that is your pulmonary. And when the blood will transport between heart and rest of the body, then that is your systemic circulation. Okay, so here you can see uh, this one. This is your pulmonary circulation. Okay. This is your pulmonary, and this one is your system. Okay. I hope double circulation is clear to all. Okay. Now, next. Why is the separation of right side and the left side of heart is useful? First of all, we should know like this right side. Okay. First of all, we should know like this right side deals with deoxygenated blood, right? And your left side deals with oxygenated blood. So the separation of your right and left side prevents the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which ensures the efficient supply of oxygen, right, to different parts of the body. Okay, so here I'm writing the answer of the part. It prevent mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, and ensures efficient supply of oxygen. Okay, to meet high energy demand. Now, see, there is one more part. How does it help bird and mammal? So this separation of right and left side of heart helps those animals which require large amount of energy. Okay. For example, your birds and mammals. Now, why birds and mammals require large amount of energy? Why these birds and mammals require large amount of energy? Because they are warm-blooded animals. Okay. They are warm-blooded animals. Now, what's the meaning of warm-blooded animal? It means they can regulate their internal body temperature. Okay. So, for regulating this body temperature, these birds and mammals require large amount of energy. So, if there will be no separation of chamber, then how they will get like large amount of oxygen, right? So that is why this birds and mammals have separate chambers. Okay. Okay. So this is now this question. Write the function of the following in human elementary kana. Okay. Again, this is a 5 marks question. And see, this question is really very important. Okay. All these questions are important. Okay. So yes. they have to explain the functions of all these. Okay, so the first one is your saliva. And we know saliva contains salivary amylase, right? And this salivary amylase helps in the breakdown of your starch into simple sugar, that is maltose, right? So this is the function of your saliva. And it also helps in chewing of food because this secretion, this watery secretion helps in the better chewing of the food, right? So it also helps in chewing of food. Okay. Now, second is your SCL. And this SCL is basically released by your stomach because on the inner wall of stomach, you will see gastric gland, right? And this gastric gland release basically three secretions into the stomach. One is your SCL, right? Second is your pepsin, and third one is your mucus. And it is present in your stomach, on the inner wall of the stomach, right? So what is the function of this SCL? So we know like SCL are acidic in nature. So it helps in killing the microorganisms. So it kills microorganisms, right? Second thing, it creates acidic environment which is required, to activate another digestive enzyme, that is your pepsin, right? Now, bile juice. So we know like this bile juice is released by your liver. Okay, it is released by liver and is stored into gallbladder. Right? So what is the function of this bile juice? It helps in emulsification of fat. Emulsification means breakdown of large globules of fat into small globules, which is then easily digested and absorbed by our alimentary canal. Okay, that is the meaning of emulsification. Okay, so emulsification means breakdown of large fat globules into small globules. Okay, now fourth is villi. So you all know the function of villi. Yes, villi are your finger-like projection, which is present on inner surface of your small intestine, right? And what is the function of this villi? It helps, it increases the surface area. It increases the surface area for absorption of digested food. Okay. Now, okay, B part is write one function of each of the following enzymes. Okay. So B. The first one is your pepsin. And we know like this pepsin is released by gastric gland present in your stomach. And this is basically a protease enzyme. It helps in the breakdown of protein into small peptides that we call it as peptones. Okay. So it breaks proteins into peptones. Okay. Second is lipase. So this lipase is basically released by your pancreas. Okay. Actually, pancreas mainly release your amylase. Okay. Second is your trypsin, and third one is your lipase. So this lipase helps in the breakdown of your lipid or fats into fatty acid plus glycerol. Okay, so it helps in breakdown of your lipids or fat. Okay, now next question. Why diffusion is insufficient to meet the oxygen requirement of multicellular organisms like human? Okay, so we all know, like, first of all, what is diffusion? Diffusion means the movement of gaseous molecule from high concentration to low concentration region, right? So this diffusion is insufficient because diffusion is very slow process, right? It is very slow process. Okay, and we know like in multicellular organisms, large number of cells are present, right? So this diffusion process cannot efficiently transport oxygen to all the cells. Okay, in or timed, right? Because this is very slow process, right? Second thing, like in multicellular organisms, most of the cells are not in contact with the external environment, right? Suppose the cells which is very deeply situated inside the body and that cell need oxygen. So it will be very difficult for oxygen to diffuse through multiple layers of tissue. Okay, so this is the second reason. Means like most of our the cells of our body are not in direct contact with the environment. Okay, so the reason is same, like because this process is very slow. Okay, so it will take a lot of time to reach there, and maybe oxygen will not reach there. Okay, so that is why this diffusion is insufficient to meet the requirement of oxygen. Okay, and here the answer is mentioned. You can see, yes. See, multicellular organisms have large number of cells. Okay, and diffusion is a slow process. It is very slow, right? That cannot efficiently transport oxygen to all the cells in a timely manner. Okay, so as I told you. Second thing, the cells in multicellular organisms are located far from the external environment. Okay, and it will make it difficult for oxygen to diffuse through multiple layer of cells. Okay. Now, next question. Explain with the help of neat and well-labeled diagrams the different steps involved in nutrition in our. Okay. So first of all, you should know like Amoeba is holozoic organisms. It means the whole digestion take place inside their body, right? And it follow 5 steps. Okay. So the steps are: first is ingestion. Second is digestion. Third is absorption. Fourth is your assimilation. And fifth one is your egestion, right? See, so in ingestion, what happened? Like amoeba moves toward the food particle with the help of this pseudopodia, okay, and extend their pseudopodia so that the pseudopodia will encircle the food material, okay. And then what happens? This and the pseudopodia fuses, and when it fuses, they form a food vacuole. Okay, so that is how they ingest the food particle inside their body with the help of pseudopodia. And this process is known as phagocytosis. Okay, now what happened? See, as now in second step, that is your digestion. Okay, so as this food vacuole moves deep into the cell, so here you will see another organelle that is known as lysosome. And we know this lysosome is filled with digestive enzyme. So this lysosome fused with this food vacuole, okay? And the digestive enzyme which is present inside this lysosome, it breaks down the food material into the simple nutrients. Okay, this is your digestion process. Now, the digested food which is present inside the food vacuole, it will diffuse out into the cytoplasm. Okay, and this amoeba will absorb this digested food. Okay, then so this is your third process, absorption. Okay, here it will come out, diffuse out. Now in fourth process, that is assimilation, amoeba will utilize this absorbed food to like to get energy. Okay, so this is assimilation, right? Now in fifth process, that is egestion. So in egestion, what happens? The undigested food that remain in the food vacuole, it will get, so this food vacuole will get fused with the plasma membrane, okay, and then the plasma membrane will get ruptured and expel out all the food material. So that is your egestion. Here you can see, okay, this food vacuole will get fused with the plasma membrane, and the site where this food vacuole will fuse with the plasma membrane, at that site plasma membrane will get ruptured and expel out all the waste material. Okay, so these are the 5 steps. Ingestion with the help of pseudopodia, amoeba ingest the food, take the food inside the body, food vacuole is formed, and so during digestion, the lysosome containing digestive enzymes fuses with the food vacuole. Okay, and this digestive enzyme help in the breakdown of this complex food material into simple nutrients. This is your digestion, and then the digested food diffuse out into the cytoplasm in this absorption process. Then amoeba will utilize this, absorbed food for different processes. And in egestion, the undigested food that remain in the food vacuole fuses with the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane get ruptured and expelled out all the undigested food outside the body. So these are the 5 steps. Okay. Now, next question. Write 3 types of blood vessels. Give one important feature of each. Okay. So we know like blood vessels are of 3 types. One is your artery, another one is your vein, and third one is your capillary. Okay. So we know arteries are thick walled blood vessels, right? They have thick wall. Veins are thin walled, right? And your capillaries are extremely thin walled. And if they are thick walled, if arteries are thick walled, it means their lumen will be narrow. Okay. So arteries have narrow lumen. Okay. And veins have wide lumen. And capillaries have extremely narrow. Okay. Now, if I talk about the function, so what's the function of artery? It carries blood away from heart, right? And your vein carries blood toward heart. Okay. And this capillary helps in the exchange of material, right? It helps in exchange of material between blood and surrounding cells. Okay. Fourth thing is, see, usually arteries carry oxygenated blood, right? It carries oxygenated blood except except pulmonary artery, because pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, right? Except pulmonary artery. Okay. Similarly, veins carries deoxygenated blood. Blood. Except pulmonary vein. Okay. And this capillaries basically joins arteries to vein, right? It join arteries to vein. Okay. And there is one more difference you can write for, that is, in arteries, valves are absent, but in veins, valves are present, right? And in your capillaries also, these valves are absent. Okay. So here I have covered all the points. Okay. Now, next question. Why is nutrition necessary for human body? Okay. So, see, why nutrition is necessary? In our body, lot of physiological activities takes place, right? For example, excretion, respiration, digestion, circulation. Okay. And all the process require energy. Okay. So, who provide that energy? From where we get this energy? From nutrition, right? So it provide energy. Okay, first thing. Second thing, it also helps in growth and development of body, right? And it is also responsible for repairing of damaged tissue. Okay. Okay. Now, next is what causes movement of food inside the alimentary canal. Okay. See, we know alimentary canal is a muscular tube, okay, and which begins from your mouth and end up to your anus, right? So basically, it is made up of muscles, and muscles have the ability to contract and expand. So here you will see series of wave-like muscular contraction. And this type of movement is known as peristaltic movement. And this peristaltic movement helps in pushing the food forward. Okay, it helps in pushing food forward. Okay, so what causes the movement of food inside the alimentary canal? Peristaltic movement. Okay. Third one is why is this small intestine in herbivores longer than in carnivores? Okay. So we know like herbivores basically feed on plant-based product, right? They feed on plant-based product. And plants have cell wall, which is made up of cellulose, right? So this plant-based product will be rich in cellulose. And we know this cellulose take longer time to digest. Okay, cellulose takes longer time to digest. So this longer small intestine ensures that food will remain in intestine for a longer period of time and it will digest very properly. Okay, that is why herbivores have large small intestine. If I talk about carnivores, okay, so carnivores basically eat animal-based product, right? Carnivores eat animal-based product, and in animal, the cell walls are absent, right? So here the digestion is easy and it will occur in very small interval of time. Okay, so that's why carnivores have small, large intestine. So the length of the length of small intestine will depend upon the type of food. So basically, this herbivores eat like plant-based products which are rich in cellulose, and cellulose take longer time to digest. That's why they have longer small intestine in comparison to your carnivores. Okay. Now next is what will happen if mucus is not secreted by the gastric glands? Okay. See, what is the function of mucus? So as I told you, this mucus is really is like released by your gastric gland present in the stomach, right? And this mucus protect the inner lining of stomach from the action of HCl because it is acidic in nature. So if there will be no mucus, then what will happen? This HCl will damage the inner lining of stomach, right? It will damage inner lining of stomach and cause ulcers and other cause ulcers and other gastric issues. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my session. Yes. Now, in next webinar, we will discuss the next chapter. Okay. So thank you all. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes. Anyone? Okay. So wish you all the best for exam. Please prepare well. Okay, and do practice more and more question because theory is not sufficient. Okay, the theory is a separate thing. But if you are not practicing the question, then you may face difficulty in exam. Okay, so please practice more and more questions. Okay, 2 marks, 3 marks, 5 marks question. And if you face any difficulty, you can ask me. Okay, I will take your doubts. Right. So thank you.
Thank you.
And if you have doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can leave the session. Bye bye.